Is the bear market over? Let's jump in, take a look at what's going on and figure it out together. So the markets are kind of flat today. The NASDAQ up almost 1%, S&P up 0.39, Dow flat up 0.07. Markets were down a little bit today, rebounded this afternoon, still have an hour and a half till close for the last trading day of the week. Tomorrow's Good Friday, so the markets will not trade tomorrow. However, the jobs report will be released tomorrow, and that will impact the markets greatly. And obviously weigh into the decision that the Fed makes in terms of what they're going to do with interest rate policy. Some Fed speakers have been out this week saying that they're going to stay at it, that they are going to continue to work until get inflation down. So tomorrow we have the jobs report, and then coming up next week we have inflation report, and then the following, well, not the following week, but when we get into May, I think it's the first or second week of May, I don't know the exact date, I'll have to look that up. The Fed will be meeting for their interest rate decision, probably the first week in May, I think is when that is going to go down, probably that first Wednesday in May, potentially. So I'll find the dates on that. Not that important right now. The important thing is jobs report tomorrow and inflation. And if they both come out hot, then obviously the Fed has ammunition to keep going. They're not going to do more than 25 basis points at this point. They're going to stay on that 25 basis point rate hike path until they get inflation down, until the jobs starts backing up and inflation starts backing up. So the markets have priced in rate cuts. They have priced in not only the Fed being done, but rate cuts and a pivot before the end of the year. And what they have not priced in is the reason for a Fed pivot and a rate cut. So it's one thing to price in rate cuts and pivot. It's another thing to price in why the Fed is cutting rates and pivoting. And that is generally because something is going to be happening that's very significant and a potential accident for the markets, like credit markets freezing up like 2017, 2018, banks crashing, things like that. Now the Fed has said we have tools to deal with isolated things so that we can stay on the rate path hike or the rate hike path and continue higher for longer. Even if banks are falling apart, even if credit markets are tightened, we have tools to deal with that. So that's the Fed's messaging right now. And if everything comes in, cooler than expected, the Fed is probably still going to hike 25 basis points at their next meeting, because they have said before they'd rather risk over tightening versus under tightening because they have the tools to deal with it. So here's the Dow right here, just kind of hanging out in this range. We'll see how things close. If the markets sell off into the close, that's a good indication of where we will be headed next week and what they're feeling about the jobs report and inflation for next week. So all the indexes just kind of hanging out right now. VIX, kind of hanging out, double checking the 18.5 level. And that's generally where you're going to get a bounce in volatility, which means the markets are reversing. Dixie kind of hanging out around that 101 level. 2 years are rebounding at 3.8, still above the 10-year at 3.2. So the treasuries are still in reversal mode right now. So we'll just have to see how all of these things, what the outlook looks like next week for all that. Oil still around $80 a barrel. Some people are calling for $100 a barrel oil. And obviously that wouldn't be great for anybody, especially going into the summer. So things are just kind of hanging out and ranging right now. Bitcoin still hanging out at the $28,000 level, putting in a potential diamond reversal top pattern. If we kind of draw this out here in terms of what that could potentially look like, breaking down there, coming back, testing that $24,000 level to see if that holds. If not, then your next stop is going to be the 20,000 level. And then of course, the ultimate low level of 15,400. So we'll have to see if this plays out and what the momentum looks like for Bitcoin right now. And again, a lot of stuff in the markets out there that could potentially upset Bitcoin in terms of what's going on with CZ. If he does get arrested, if that is really true, we know there's investigations going on. They pulled their application in Australia. So there's a lot going on with Binance right now. So if that exchange ends up in trouble, if CZ gets in trouble, that could be a big event for crypto. But as we've seen before, crypto finds a way, to survive. Coinbase is still out there. However, Coinbase is not going to let everybody in that's been trading on Binance. Binance is the largest for a reason. It's because of how they do business and who they do business with. With some of the illegal activity that's obviously going on there that they don't really try to hide that much. So some of that's going to get exposed. We'll see how that weighs on the market. So this is a distribution kind of area right now going into a lot of that. And of course, you still have the Tether time bomb out there that's potentially that could potentially explode, especially if Binance explodes and all these things getting exposed with the FTX situation. Here's Ethereum kind of ranging, XRP backing up, ranging a little bit at the 50 cents level. Cardano, news came out about Cardano getting behind on some things because of bad technology. So everything just kind of hanging out, ranging right now as this market continues to try to figure itself out in terms of, is this bear market over? And, will inflation start coming down? Will the job market start correcting so the Fed can at least stop hiking and wait and see how things kind of unfold and try to have a softer landing? But as we all know, the history shows that you can't get inflation down without putting the economy into a recession. Fed fund rates has to get higher than inflation, which is not right now. And it has to stay there for a while to get inflation down. So those are the things that I'm looking at as of right now. And I will see you on the next video.